Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to be talking about the concept known as minimum spanning trees. Now, I think this is quite probably the greatest skill and most applicable skill inside of all of networks. It's one thing that I absolutely love, and I think it is really, 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 really useful. Um, so, in terms of a minimum spanning tree, you'll see it pop up very, very shortly. But essentially, it's used quite often to lay things such as pipeline or those sorts of things with minimum cost. Okay, so to start the video off, let's understand some terminology so that we're able to go and have a play. So a tree is a connected network in which there is an edge that joins any two vertices, okay, with no cycles. Now, I'll explain what a cycle is very, very shortly in a moment, because you might not have heard that word before. Now, some examples of trees. So you'll see that we have four vertices inside of this node, okay? There is an edge that connects each of the vertices. So I'm able to get from one point to every single other point by passing an edge. So same thing here. Okay, there's a pathway to get to all of our vertices. Okay, here is an example of a non-tree. You'll notice in this particular graph that I can get from this vertex to this vertex, but it is disconnected. Okay, there's no way for me to be able to go and form a connection. And this is also not a tree. Okay, it's not a tree because you'll notice between these three vertices, there is what's known as a cycle. So there's no cycle here, there's no cycle here, but a cycle is essentially where we create the ability to go between all of our nodes, all of our vertices by cycling through them. So there are multiple ways for me to get to a vertex. So I can go along here and then along there and then along there. Okay, and so I create a cycle which could have a direction, it could have a weight, but essentially you don't want I'm hesitant to use the word loop, but I will just in this particular case. I'm not meaning like a loop for an edge, but you essentially have like a closed loop that connects all of your vertices, not in the edge sense. Now, in terms of what we have, we want to talk about what's known as spanning trees. So a spanning tree is a tree which connects all vertices in the network. Okay, so all vertices. And that is called a spanning tree. So if we look at the network here below, A, B, C, and D, there are different types of spanning trees that you can have, including the minimum spanning tree, by the way. It's not unique. We can connect A, B, C, and D in that way. In that way, there are multiple different ways of being able to connect all of the vertices inside of a network. But essentially, it's not always going to be the shortest way if we go and apply weights to each of these. The shortest way to connect the vertices of a network is called the minimum spanning tree, and that's the concept that we want to focus on today to have a little bit of a play with. Now, something that's worth noting before you move on, you'll know that you've created a tree if you have one less edge than the number of vertices that you have. So you'll see that we have 4 vertices and we have 3 edges. So if I have for n edges, we have n minus 1 vertices. Okay, and that is a little useful result for you to be able to check whether or not you've done it correctly. So there's 2 different ways for us to go and calculate minimum spanning trees, and I'm going to talk about both of them here. I'll probably do a video on each of them. So one being Prim's algorithm and one being Kruskal's algorithm. Okay, so in this video we'll focus on Prim's algorithm. So let's have a little bit of a look at Prim's algorithm. I essentially want you to understand that Prim's algorithm is vertex focused, and it's quite a simple common sense algorithm to go and pick the way to join all of these vertices up using the least weight. Okay. So you can pick any edge to sort of start the MST, the minimum spanning tree. I'm probably going to rephrase that to say we can look at any vertex that we want to start with. Okay, so it really doesn't matter where you'd like to start. For example, if I want to, I might start over here at E. Okay, and I'll do a slightly smaller circle there. Then what we want to do is at all of our edges that are connected to this vertex, we basically want to pick the one with the smallest weight to connect to another vertex. And so we look at H, well, that has a weight of 20. We look at D and we go, oh, that's a weight of 8. So that is a much smaller way of being able to connect there. Okay, but it's not the smallest because from this vertex, we have the ability to go from E to K. And so if we highlight that from E to K, we have a weight of 7. And now what we look at both the vertices of E and of K, and we try and pick the smallest edge that connects either of those vertices to another one. Okay. And so we have a little bit of a look here, and we notice that our options we have from this vertex, we have a weight of 10 and a weight of 12. Or from E, we have a weight of 8 and we have a weight of 20. And so a weight of 8 is our smallest. And so now we repeat this process over and over and over and over again every time we add a new vertex in. And we go, okay, cool. So from each of our vertices now, we want to pick the edge with the smallest weight that doesn't form a cycle. So we look at 20 that could connect to that vertex from E. From D, we have 13, we have 16. So from D, we look at our options, which we can connect to H, which has a weight of 13. So far, the lowest from D to C, which is 16, D to G, which is 17, and D to K, which is 10. However, that while it is our lowest weight, we don't want to use because you can see here that we form a cycle. So we don't want to use that edge because we don't want to create a cycle. That's really, really, really important. And our final vertex that we want to check is K. And again, we still have that 10 edge to connect, or our smallest weight now, which we have that we can see is from K to G, which is a weight of 12. And we just repeat this process all the way through, just evaluating each vertex. And we just pick the smallest edge connected. So our smallest edge is not 20, can't be 17 because then we're creating a cycle, okay? All right, so we've looked at all of the edges from G. Now we look from D, we've got an edge of 16 versus 13. So we're kind of focusing on this 13 here, and we go, all right, from E, we also have that vertex. Well, so we have 13 versus 20. I know which one I'm picking to create the minimum. I'm going to connect up to H using 13. And again, now let's follow that same process. We don't have to worry about K anymore. Any edges coming from K are just going to form a cycle. We don't have to worry about E anymore because that would also do the same thing. So now we're just looking at these three vertices. And so we look, all right, cool. We need to connect to C and to F. But let's have a look. From G, we have an edge of 20. From D, we have an edge of 16. And from H, we have an edge of 15. Well, from H, we're going to pick the edge of 15 as that's the smallest. And now what we do is we just look at our smallest value to go and connect to the last one. From G is 20, from D is 16, and from F is 16. From F is 23. So we are going to go and pick the option of D to C. And so the way Prim's algorithm works is that if at each stage in our journey, we just pick the smallest value to add onto the network, it's quite common sense that we would end up with the smallest overall weight of the total network. Okay. All right. So now you can have a little bit of a play with that. This is my preferred method, but I'm going to show you Kruskal's method, which may not seem as intuitive, but I will show you how it works regardless anyway in the next video. So thank you for watching.